Ave cohort. It is Saturday, which means that it is time for Pilum Teaches DCS, where I come in and help teach you hands-on and live on air some things about DCS. We are in Phase 4 with the F-4E Phantom II, which is going to be our air-to-air weapons, some tactics and theory. We are going to be joined by my weapons system officer today, who's going to be riding in the back seat, so it will be a full multi-crew aircraft, getting the work done. Should be a nice treat. So with that, let's go ahead and get into it, and we're going to do the quick walk around the aircraft. Alright, so as we can see here, we are carrying some external fuel pods on the outbound portion of the wings. We're carrying sidewinders and sparrows. We have nothing on the center line. Very important for that kind of work to not have anything on the center line is having any of the racks on the center line up to and including the gun pod will not allow the front two sparrows to be fired. Before we get super deep into anything else here, I kind of want to talk briefly about the weapons that we do have available for the jet. There are a lot of different Sidewinder variants that you can see here. We're not talking about the captive AIM-9M for ACM training, as that is just a Sidewinder M seeker head that will give you feedback and tone, but will not actually come off the rail and do anything. Most of the weapons here on this list are rear aspect only weapons, like the AIM-9B Sidewinder or the GAR-8, if you're familiar with flying the F-86, the AIM-9J, the AIM-9P, AIM-9P3. All of those are rear aspect only weapons. Your all aspect weapons are the AIM-9 Julie, which is an export version of the Sidewinder, the AIM-9L, the AIM-9P5, which is another export version of the Sidewinder, and the AIM-9M. These are all aspect weapons that can be successfully fired at the target at any angle and have more sensitive seeker heads and different performance characteristics that really allow them to get the job done. Broadly speaking, the earlier the mark of the Sidewinder, the more gentle you have to be with it. Something like the AIM-9B really only has like a 2 or 3 G limit to being able to come off the rail successfully, and their seeker heads are not as refined. They're more subjected to flares. They are a little more easily evaded. And there's a host of things that go on with that, so keep that in mind there. The other weapons we're using today are the AIM-7M Sparrow, which is a solid-state electronics version of the weapon. We don't need a whole lot of lead time with maintaining a lock in order to successfully hand off the weapon. But if we were using the E or E2, we would need 4 seconds prior to shooting. And if we're using the Foxtrot variant, we'd need 2 seconds prior to shooting of maintaining a good lock on the target to make sure that we were going to be successful in that attack. Before I unmute and say hello to Trigger and get going there, just a quick talk about where we are today, because we're not on the NTTR. We're in Syria today, flying out of Incirlik Air Force Base in Turkey. And we have an air-to-air yard. There are aircraft that I will be able to call in several groups, or not several groups at once, but a sequence of groups that will come in and initiate combat. We will engage our targets, but we will need to fly back over the top of Hatay Air Base in order to spawn the next set. We do have tankers that are available too. And we'll see how far we can go. So let's go ahead and unmute, and we'll say hello to Trigger, and we'll be ready to go. Good morning, Trigger.
Good morning.
Alright, just grabbing my helmet there. Prime sync cleared.
Got you a waypoint to the holding area as well, showing 59, 60 miles.
Yeah, I concur. Alright, let's go ahead and get the chocks off the jet.
Roger.
Radio set 266, deck iron 021 X-ray.
Alright, we're gonna go up against MiG-21 pairs, I think.
Go get him, sir. Pew, 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 pew. Disconnecting.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and spawn that group. Maybe a series of 1v2s there.
Engines are showing perfect alignment on each.
Nice. Maintainers did a good job with the jet today. So we need a taxi out and to the right. Covered a little bit about the weapons that we've got available on board the jet already. Also, good morning, Anna. Got an ad break coming up. Catch the taxi line here.
Chaff's active and flares are off right now.
Understood. Just don't forget to turn them on before we go into the merge.
Yep.
All right, flying with a human Wizzo today is going to be a significant boon for us. Jester does seem to have a lot of problems tracking targets of fighter sizes until they're, give or take, about 25 miles. Once they get to about that threshold, though, you've got to act very quickly if you're going to have any kind of hope at all to try and get a Sparrow shot on them as they cross about the 10 or 12 mile mark. I wouldn't want to fire a Sparrow much further than 10 to 12 miles. Very similar to what I would do in an F-14. As not terribly far after that distance, it doesn't have the energy if the target's going to be maneuvering significantly. If they're not paying attention, that's a little different, but most people do. Yeah, it certainly does.
So glad I blown the glare shield.
It's a helpful feature. Talk a little bit about the beyond visual range game, because that's kind of where fights tend to start. There's a lot of things that I've tried to teach with the pilots that I fly with, is that the BVR game really starts anywhere between 50 and 100 nautical miles when you first make good detection of the enemy. Because at that point, it's all about jockeying for position, trying to increase your advantages while decreasing the enemy's, closing distance and flying in different ways that either makes you stuck in people's pulse Doppler filters and therefore drop off their radar, such as flying a beam to their radar. So if they look at it as like the letter T, you want to be the top half of that T, so that when the enemy's radar illuminates you, it goes, oh hey, that's moving at the same speed as me. That must be the ground. And modern pulse Doppler radars will ignore that, which provides you a level of being hidden before you can turn in and attack that target. Burners are up.
Yep. Needles moved. 120. 160.
Nose coming up.
200.
And we're airborne. Flaps and gear coming up.
Gears up. Flaps are up. Stand by for radar operation. And now.
It's interesting that even on a mission like this, it still hits me with that every once in a while. Like, there's not a lot to this one.
The sudden pause for a bit while it loads.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we got the AWACS chirping. Now, other things for the front seat include this top bar here, which tells me what radar range Trigger is currently seeking at. He's got it dialed up to 50 right now. And as he changes the range scale, we'll see that number change all the way down to 5 in increments of 25, 10, 5, and 50.
Can go up to 100, but I've noticed slight performance issues when we do it
Yeah,
like that.
absolutely. You know, I wonder if having the radar have its little fit early on, if that might not be tied to, like, you know, maybe set the radar to 10 miles before we take off.
That might not be a bad idea. We'll have to try that.
Yeah, worth exploring next time. Now, we do have
Are we
combat...
going for the usual look up, shoot up?
We'll probably close to about 15,000 feet, which should be co-altitude to the enemy bandits today.
Roger that.
We'll be able to look a little more co-altitude, but ideally, yes. And Trigger brings up a good point, because one of the things that you can see on the radar right now is a bunch of false echoes, side lobe returns, things like that, and all of that stems from the radar interacting with the ground. So if we're in a position where we can scale the, or tilt the antenna upwards, like Trigger's doing now, we can see his antenna elevation here on the right. It reduces that clutter because you're looking up at the sky where there's no ground returns to come crashing into. Right, autopilot's on and reducing power for cruise. So the beyond visual range fight really begins the first moment that you target the enemy, and at that point we tend to fly almost like Z-shaped patterns through the sky. We'll be cranked off to one direction to close distance, and then like a ship of the age of sail trying to tack into the wind, we will turn and fly the other direction a little bit, so that we're still closing distance with our target, but we're trying to fly in such a way that it makes us a harder radar return to see. Which can confuse some radars. Doesn't work 100% of the time, but it is one of the means that we can use to try and protect ourselves and still try and track the bandits as we maintain them off the gimbals of the nose. As we come out here and look at the radar, inside this nose cone, that dish is swinging back and forth, and it has limits out to about 40-50 degrees to the left and 40 and 50 degrees to the right, and it's, you know, it's just kind of doing one of these back and forth, scanning the sky looking for stuff. So if we can keep the enemy on one set of gimbals and track him, and then we turn and we fly the other direction, we keep him on the other set of gimbals, we can close distance while still making ourselves a more minimal target. Because the other thing that we see on the other end of the equation, being on the other end of the fighter, is if I'm tracking a bandit and we're locked up on it, I'll have a range gate that tells me when I'm within range of my weapons to be able to hit the target based on the current flying parameters. You know, however we're flying, what our altitude is, what the enemy's altitude is, how fast they're going. All of those things figuring together to tell you whether or not you're in range of a weapon. So by flying oblique angles like that while still closing with the target, if he's flying straight on at us, our missile, if we fired it at the same time, should get to him before his missile gets to us. So we can confuse his range gate calculations as far as whether or not he thinks we're in range. It also puts us in a position where if for whatever reason they do decide to shoot first, we can turn immediately and make that range gate even worse and avoid the missile potentially without even deploying any countermeasures. Master arm on.
Roger.
Sparrow selected. Now at this point, Trigger is sweeping with the radar in a narrow band, and he's adjusting the gain of the radar itself to try and find out which one of these tea leaves and false echo returns is the real thing, because it'll be one that remains on the display and moves closer to the bottom as we close distance with the target area. Right now our RWR system is naked except for our E3 Sentry that's up and flying around. It's our AWACS. So we can be reasonably certain that while the enemy is up and about, we can check in with AWACS now and see where they are.
Magic 111. Request bogey dope. Magic 11. Clean.
And he can't see them right now either, because they're probably here in the middle, flying back and forth, a beam to our current position. So we might be able to catch them as they hit the turns, and the AWACS will report them in. Broadly speaking, what we'll want to do in the BVR game is track the target successfully, get to a position where we think we can hit him, fire the missile, and then crank off to the left or right to near the radar's gimbals to minimize our exposure to return fire. There you go. While still
Right about
guiding
20 degrees.
Got it. While still guiding our missile to the target. Yeah, it's looking like a good capture there, Trigger.
Just with the speed jumping around, I'm a little...
Well, I mean, he is potentially at the ends of his patrol arc, so you want to let him go and just track him with combat tree.
Nah, I can see him.
There you go. Now, the important thing that we're talking about here is a feature for the F-4 Phantom called Combat Tree, which historically in Vietnam, we developed technology that allowed us to read the transponder signals emitted from MiG-21s. And we were able to put some of that technology into the back seats of our F-4Es, where the weapon system officer would issue the IFF challenge to look for friendly targets, and if the combat tree was tuned correctly, it would highlight enemy targets. Anything coming back on that transponder frequency would come back with a single line instead of a double line to indicate it was a hostile target. So Trigger right now has got this guy lit up and his IFF interrogating, and it's returning a single bar as they're stepping down. So that tells him right where he needs to look to find the right radar return that is our enemy. Plane in hand. We're closing distance with these guys pretty quick, but they're still a beam to us and not looking at us nose on because I'm not seeing their radar returns coming back to us.
Yeah. Not to mention closure rates jumping all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Closure rate's going to be... Closure rate's in that top right-hand corner. And the intercept dot is bouncing around like a pea in a drum. Let's go ahead and let him go for now, see if we can't get him to steady up in a minute. I'm going to drop us down.
For a sec.
I'm going to drop us down about 2,000 feet.
Copy, I'll try and keep an eye on him then.
We're down to about 25 miles. Now the AWACS sees him.
That's better. That's solid.
Okay.
But that's also not moving. That should be way higher than that.
Yeah, it's only about our airspeed there. Well, no, it's falling off as I'm... Well, no, it shouldn't be falling off as we're turning... Try and rehook him. He's going to be at the gimbals there to the right.
It's so difficult to see right now. That might be him. That's better. 800 knot closure.
Yep, there we go. All right, he's almost in
900.
range. Picking the throttles up.
I think he might have turned away from us.
That makes sense. No, we're still getting RWR.
Yep, there we go. It's climbing back up again. I think he was just in a turn.
Fox 1. Oh yeah,
This
there
is
he is, right
tracking.
off the nose.
Yeah, it's tracking his friend. I've got eyes on his other buddy. He's on hour 7 right now.
Missile missed. Let him have it again, Fox 1. That's a hit. He's out. He's out.
Other bandits on our right wing, co-altitude. Missile, missile, missile.
Flares up.
Ooh. Yep, I did it, I did it. You got eyes?
Oh yeah, and he's right off the nose. Fox 2. He's out. Now we slipped in
Holy
behind him
shit.
smooth as butter, man.
Yeah. It chaff 4 flares.
I mean,
I'm not gonna lie, if we hadn't dumped those countermeasures, we would have been dead.
well, yeah, that's why they're there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're heading back up towards our spawn area there. We'll see if we can catch him again. Big things with the F4 though is that you don't have a whole lot on your HUD to tell you where the target is. Like we've got our pipper, we have a roll indicator on the pipper, and we have a range indicator on the pipper when that thick band is locked onto a target. Not a whole lot in the way though to put like a diamond or anything on the HUD to go, hey, the bad guy's right here.
Turn on the radar.
Got 8,000 pounds available. You're definitely through the ETs though. Just gonna verify that with our fuel page. Oh no, we haven't even been using them. Transfer that gas.
You're kidding me. Just saving onto it for a rainy day.
Oh, you know, I just wanted it to be a little faster to dive. To answer Anna's question there, I've got coffee this morning. We've been using this Black Rifle Company's vanilla flavor. It's been really good.
Yeah, going back to range on the radar, I've got it back here. It can go up to 200, but that is not recommended.
Yeah. Really hoping to be through more of that ET gas so we get rid of the bags, but At least the wing bags are okay for dogfighting.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have as much of a performance hit on the F4 as the centerline does.
I was about to say the centerline's the worst.
Mm-hmm. For two reasons. The first one is just the aerodynamic properties of the giant bag in the middle of the jet, and then also because it locks out your front side sparrows. Like those two sparrows are already off the jet, so we just have our rear sparrows now.
Got it.
We had good track on that other weapon. He just, he notched the radar when we were in close.
Which is weird because the radar actually kept locked too.
Wait, that's the thing with it is that it might find a side lobe and go, oh hey, no, I've got the target. I'm illuminating it still, which is the problem of not having a radar that's good for look down, shoot down. Is at the moment we start pointing the nose at the ground is potentially where problems arise. And we won't know until the missile's just past terminal.
That's why I laugh at the Top Gun Maverick thing, where he's on about, we'll get low, the terrain will confuse the targeting system. Buddy, that's not an F4 or anything. No, it won't.
I mean, it might work for, the SAM system, or having actual terrain between you and the source of the emitter, but any of the airborne threats with the newer radars, especially the AUG-9 on the F-14 that the unlisted nation was flying.
Mm-hmm. Like, the minute you're in a dive in the F4, it is impossible for me to find a target.
Yes.
Just hands down. You can try, you're never going to get it.
All right, bandits are at 15,000 and 70 miles. Cruising back in for the fight. Did I make Hatay blue? No, Hatay is neutral. Want weapons, we have to go back to Incirlik. And that's okay. If I was doing this with Jester, I would need to be using the contextual Jester binds again, which we've talked about in previous streams. Chiefly this Jester contact action, short hold and double click. If you do a short press, you'll tell Jester, I want you to follow the target. And he'll put the little bug on top of the target and start sliding it down as he sees it. If you do the long press, you'll tell Jester, I want to lock the target you're currently tracking. But you don't have to do a short press first before doing a long press. You can't just go right to the long press if he goes, hey, I got a bandit, this target, this place. You can just go right to long press and he will try and track the target. But just like what with Trigger had happened to him, it's possible that you might be tracking the target at first and then lose the target without realizing it and track something in the side lobe instead.
Can you go ahead and bring us down a couple of thousand?
Yes, sir. Descending through 15.
Thank you. Radar's having a hard time right now.
I'm going to bring us down to 11, so you got 4,000 feet difference.
Roger, that's perfect.
There you go.
That might be aiming a little too high. There we go. Oh, too much.
Generally what I tend to do when I'm working with Jester rather than Trigger is I will give him a short track pulse at about 25 miles or more, depending upon when he picks him up, and then put him in STT, actually have him do the whole full lock at about 15 miles, and then get ready to shoot. So that closure rate looks absurd. That's more like it.
That's better.
Okay, coming right for the intercept dot. Range gate's looking
900
better.
knot closure. Went up to 900 there for a sec.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's steady up on him. Let's double check it. Try and find him again. Not liking the way that's looking. Okay, better. Picking the throttles up. Tally bandits off the nose. Fox 2. Got a bandit coming in high over the top of us, tracking his friend.
Roger, I got eyes on him. Radar's going to be all yours.
I think that other Sidewinder went stupid. Got him in auto whack.
Other bandits just went below us.
Interlock's out.
Other bandits right above us.
Fox 1.
I got eyes on him.
Good track on the Sparrow. Splash bandit. That's one out.
Keep coming. Keep pulling. Keep pulling. Keep pulling. He's high. 12 high. 12 high. You see him?
No.
He's
But I think
diving
it's
down
just-
on our 12.
Got him. Trying not to make that AOA bell ring too loud because that's costing us energy.
300. 400. 300. Down to 2.
God, he's too close for the Sparrow.
Speed's holding at 300.
He's in the frame right now, which is why I keep toggling back and forth in my views.
3. Sitting about 390, 400. Oh, he's running.
Run from this. Fox 1.
Missile didn't track.
Understood. Fox 2.
And bonk.
Now he goes.
My radar.
Your radar. Alright, with that, it's time for us to go home. Get more weapons. We'll do it all again.
Setting waypoint for you now.
I love watching the fuel page work.
Waypoint set. 305. 88 miles.
Roger.
And radar's in standby.
Tanks are gone.
Countermeasures are off.
Use our energy here to get some altitude for the trip home. As our J-79s are ham-fisting us through the air Mach 1.2.
I'm not surprised given how light we are. 736 is what I'm reading.
I'll say, and how aerodynamic. And F-4 was an aircraft designed before computer-assisted drafting and fly-by-wire systems and everything else. Like it's a very well-planned airplane for what it needed to do, which is mostly go fast. Go fast and land on a boat. Distribute MiG parts.
And 800 knots.
I just want to see how fast we can go.
$830. $860. $900.
Oh, we could do better than that. Come on. Stepping up.
Speed's dropping quick.
Climbing through Angels 40.
F-4 space program, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
$830 and dropping.
Our altimeter is having some problems here at the pressure altitude.
Alright, speed's climbing again. 820, Mach 1.4.
Come on, J-79s, don't let me down.
Holding steady at 1.4.
Angels 50.
40 miles to target. $840.
God, we are sipping gas at this altitude. We are in full afterburner and are still got 5,000 pounds on board.
Speed's 850. Mach 1.45.
We're definitely crossing the bay here, so let's go back off the power.
I was going to say you should have throttled up and nose down a little bit.
A little bit.
Alright, that's 750.
Not for the dust, we probably could see Interlink from here.
I think I sort of see it. $550.
Yeah, it should be the city.
19 miles. And speed's dropping through 400.
Seats raised, lights are on. Fenced out, master arm off. Weapons safe, pylons deselected.
Countermeasures are off. Radar's in standby. Ready in the back for landing. LS is also set for 2-3. TechN 020, 021, X-ray. Showing 13 miles. And no degradation on the engines either.
That's good, because we've actually put them through a little bit of work. I'm showing 10 Gs on the accelerometer.
Mm-hmm. And almost negative 1.5. So definitely been put through the paces.
Mm-hmm. A couple of those Sparrows didn't track, but sometimes that's just the way that goes. Historically speaking, the PK of a Sparrow was not the greatest in the early stages of the Vietnam War. Some had failure to guide, some had failure to launch, some had failure to start. Sidewinders experienced a lot of problems too. So the reliability that you have in more modern weapon systems is built on the backs of the happy fun time that we experienced here.
Now the next question is, would you like to do the next part with Jester to kind of show his
No.
performance?
No, thank you. I'll take...
Just no hesitation in the reply whatsoever.
Look, DCS multi-crew is really where it's at. And if you can get a friend who wants to ride in the other seat and does so with gusto and proficiency, that is going to make Jester look like a freaking choir boy every single time.
Speed's 250.
Yep. In the brake. Maybe a gentler brake this time. So we were not that fast.
The flats and slats look to be okay.
Dirting up.
Showing 3 down and locked. Flap's good, slap's good. Oh, stand by. Flaps not good. Flaps are stuck up.
Okay, that means we're gonna land a little faster. Unless they come down here in a minute.
Oh, hang on. There they go. There they go. They just dropped.
Okay.
Might have just been a little error in the hydros.
We were a little quick too. We're on AOA though.
I was showing 220. Speed's 195. Flaps are still down. Everything's still green. Speed 200. $190. Passing 180.
In a dogfight, that
170.
AOA indicator is definitely your friend, as it will chirp as you get upwards of 25 units or more AOA.
165.
Oh, she's floaty. That's alright, we'll set it down.
160. Good shoot.
Yeah.
Good deceleration.
Yeah, we got plenty of runway. I don't even need to use the brake yet.
Needle's dead.
And it's one of the things to listen for is your AOA warnings, is that cost you energy. Sometimes you do need to heel the nose over hard. Because like in that one instance, you really just need that extra 4 or 5 degrees of nose authority in order to get your plane in a position to shoot well. But if you're still in the pursuit phase of just trying to keep up with a guy, it's better to let him lag out a little bit and get a little further away while you're still behind him in the safe zone in the power position than it is to bleed your energy needlessly.
I just noticed a neat little checklist on the right side here.
Mm-hmm.
It's for solo flight. Nav computer needs to be off. Radar sec control off. Interior lights off. Pressure suit valve off. Oxygen off. Seat harness stowed. Loose articles stored. And canopy locked. All for solo flight.
Mm-hmm. And usually, if you're just doing a ferry flight or something like that,
yeah,
where you're just basically using dead reckoning to go from A to B.
I mean, makes sense considering the waypoint computers in the back and not the front.
Mm-hmm.
I've never noticed that till now.
Okay, let's put chocks on the jet.
Roger.
All right, while you refuel and rearm us, I'm going to go
Yes,
quickly
sir.
grab a drink.
Wheel
Hopefully I
chocks
don't
in.
crash.
Заправка по плану. Перезарядка по
Apparently,
плану.
we were also somewhat Russian. I think it's because I have it on all coalitions blue. It's more time for coffee, though, as we watch our fuel cells recharge. And I do have the refueling door open to activate the additional pumps in the jet. And as we can see, as it's refueling multiple cells simultaneously, our needle moves up very quickly. But as we get to the very end, it will slow down dramatically at about 9,500 pounds.
I have returned.
Welcome back.
And DCS didn't crash. That's a first.
Small miracles.
I've probably jinxed it now, though. Alright, I'll grab us the waypoint back to the holding area again.
You're flying for about an hour. You can double check the alignment too. We're refilling the wing cells now. They're about 40% full.
You might have to walk me through that again. I think I've forgotten a little bit.
You're going to set the navigation mode from its normal mode to set.
Yep, 1 sec. Almost done with the waypoint.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Ready.
Okay, so the switch above your waypoint position keeper, put it in set.
Right, done.
Get the position of our aircraft. So you have the lat long standard coordinates.
Yep, zooming in on us right now. And right, that should do. Yep, it's slightly off.
Okay, so on the position portion of the knob, they are press hold in turns. Make the adjustments so that they are as close to the lat long position as possible. They shouldn't be off by very much,
They're not.
but just dial them back in as close as you can. Keeping in mind that we really don't have a whole lot of decimals of precision there.
Okay, done. The blue lights are on.
Okay, now grab the switch and press and hold fix until both lights go out.
Done.
We're realigned.
Okay.
If we were doing that over a point, like a known point, ideally a TACAN beacon. Those are the best, because
Yeah.
TACAN navigation will always point the arrow at the beacon, regardless of what the compass says, unless that particular wheel is broken. That's kind of the caveat there. Like TACAN needle won't show if there's no signal. TACAN beacon won't show if there's a broken part of the compass on that. But assuming all those portions are working, we can use the TACAN beacon to point at it. You dial in the GPS coordinates of the beacon, and a few seconds before we overfly it, you press and hold fix. until the lights go out, and you keep holding the switch in fix until we pass over the beacon, and then let it go. And then the jet's realigned. So that's a way that we can do that in flight without being stationary.
Oh, so the set one with the buttons you do on the ground.
No, you set even when you're in the air. But when you
okay.
when you slide the switch into set, what you're doing is disconnecting the compass from the INS of the jet.
And then you put the coordinates in of where you're about to fly over, and then as you're about to fly over it, you hold fix.
Correct, because it only changes like 3 degrees per second. So if, you know, hypothetically we're cruising out there for a while, and for whatever reason we're doing like an Iron Man episode, and you know, we've been cruising for like 5 or 6 hours, hitting the tanker, sipping gas, holding a patrol point, rinse, lather, repeat for 5 or 6 hours. So our alignment is all borked to hell. It's way off. So we pick a known point to go fly over, and we go to realign the jet. You might need to be 10, 15 seconds out from overflying that waypoint, and you just press and hold that switch, and you keep holding it in fix until we overfly the waypoint, and then let it go.
Ah, so you hold fix before that point.
Correct. Because it takes time for those gyros to spindle back into place. So you just keep holding the switch in fix mode until we pass over the known point, at which point the alignment's perfect, right? Like, you put in the coordinates of the TACAN beacon, I'm getting ready to fly over the TACAN beacon, you press and hold fix. Okay, I misjudged it, it's already realigned, but we're still 3 seconds out from overflying the point. Well, you wait till we overfly it, let go of the switch, and now we're aligned.
Roger.
It's easier when we're on the ground because as soon as the lights go out, you know, we haven't moved.
Yeah.
And the wheel
I need to
chocks
get
are
in the
out.
habit of doing that every
Okay,
time we
sir,
land.
we're
Just
good to go.
quickly
Have a safe flight and disconnect.
get position of where we are and try and fix it.
It's less important if we've been flying for only about an hour because, you know, as you saw today, it's not that far off. But if we've been cruising around for an hour and a half, 2 hours or so, we lose about 3 nautical miles of alignment drift for every hour of flight. It's not always that way, but it's an approximate figure. If we did a full alignment, it's a little bit better. It holds on for a little longer. And if we did a bath alignment, we might as well just do it every single time we land.
Yeah. Still, though, not a bad
habit to get into.
tism. Yeah, not a bad tism to get into.
Double check everything, make sure the jet's ready to go, because if we're relying on that precision to go from A to B and we don't have it, and that could be a potential issue.
Speaking of getting everything ready, everything is good to go back here for takeoff.
Excellent. Send it back up to nav computer navigation.
Waypoint is set for the hold area, showing 58 miles.
Concur. The other thing too is to get in a good habit when you're working with a human Wizzo is to double check with the guy in back that your gauges are showing the same thing. Because the F-4 is one of a handful of aircraft now that has graceful degradation, where components will wear out. They'll start having inaccuracies. You'll have, you know, sticky landing gear, bad hydraulics, you know, any number of other minor errors. And they affect both seats differently. Which is a great thing to model. Very immersive. But something to watch out for.
Alright, accelerometer reset, engines looking good still, no degradation. Everything else looks good, at least from the back.
Takeoff trim set. Wing transfer set to normal.
Showing engines idling at 67% RPM currently. Both sides.
Yep. Yeah, she really doesn't need a whole lot of oomph once she gets going.
Yeah. It's merely I'm just trying to make sure you see what I see.
Yep. We're all good.
As soon as we take off, I'll start timer for 30 seconds to turn radar on.
And here goes the roll.
Needles alive. 100 knots. 150.
That was coming up.
Passing 200.
Gear and flaps.
20.
Reset radar range,
Gears
10
up.
miles.
Flaps are up. And I'll do radar now.
Not even a hitch.
Alright, pushing out to 25
So good?
and 50.
Yeah, there we go.
Excellent. Yes, like, see, if I test 100 now, you see what I mean?
Yep.
I would love to use 100, but it's performance-wise, it's not possible.
Yeah, it is just kind of a way that Heatblur does a lot of advanced stuff with the radar, but it's very processor intensive.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the things I like about the 14 as well, using its Doppler. It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, 50 miles to zone.
Excellent. Our friend should still be out there.
Yeah, I heard AirWax call 70 miles just before. Gonna keep the radar in wide mode for now.
Yeah, we're actually transferring out of the fuel tanks this time.
I'm gonna do that.
And autopilot set for cruise. My coffee cup appears damaged. And that it is empty. Not that it's got any problems with it.
Magic 111. Request bogey dope.
Trip control the radio.
I see that. Just make sure you're transmitting on the radio, not the intercom. and that we are on the proper channel and in manual mode.
Yep, it's set 266 and everything.
Yep, but are we on preset or manual
There
for the
we
frequency
go. I
selector?
was using the wrong radio. The wrong command.
There you go.
Magic 111. Request bogey dope.
That might do it.
Still a little ways out. Sparrow selected.
Chaff is on, flare is off right now.
No, just turn them on. By the time
Alright.
any of those MiGs shoot at us, it's going to be close range.
Okie dokie.
I almost wish that I could modify the dispenser and have both compartments full of flares.
Yeah.
Ooh. I don't think it rearmed our flares.
I'm showing 30.
Okay, so on the exterior model, I'm seeing a handful of chaff packs and not very many flares in the containers.
Yeah, 30 flares, 60 chaff.
Okay, we'll trust it.
But on the same token, as we've learned in the past, that could be desync.
It could. I can hear Chief's voice telling me that it is both mid and desync right now.
Yeah.
Magic 111. Request bogey dope.
Alright, I'll hand radio back to you.
That's fine.
It's mainly my head's too busy in the radar right now.
Coming right to 144.
Yeah, so they are cool altitude right now. Oh, Jesus.
Try dialing the gain down further, so you can't find them that way.
That's what I'm trying to do.
They're tracking right hard.
Switching to narrow.
Pushing the nose down a little bit.
I think maybe ever so slightly I see them.
I'm gonna go crazy here with it, descending to 10.
Thank you, that's better.
Yeah, that's him.
That might be a better lock.
Yeah, it's still bouncing around really hard.
think that's it, or do you want me to re-verify real quick?
Now take another reading or two as we get closer. That's better. Yeah, that's giving me a good intercept dot.
700 knot closure.
I'm trying to do is
800 knots.
trying to keep him in the gimbals, but try and fly the intercept dot as they're now turned. Yeah, they're turning towards us. Let's see how far away we can pick him off.
900.
It's looking good.
1,000 knot closure.
Maneuvering circle's good. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Hang on with it. Well within range. Fox 1. Right off the nose.
Missiles
Good.
tracking.
Yep.
I love it when the radar plays nice with me.
Mm-hmm. Staying with him.
He's notched the missile.
Man, that's too bad I got a second one.
Oh, that one. That one's tracking good. And
Smack.
splash. Alright, where's his buddy?
My radar.
Roger that. I saw the missile, I did cuff and flare,
Pilot's
but
dead.
it didn't go after it.
And apparently took that in the cockpit.
I got us out.
All
I don't see
right.
your shoot though. Where are you?
Oh no, I died. I died. unless,
Great, I'm the lone survivor.
and unless you turn that handle.
I did. I did.
Okay. Well, then my seat apparently experienced a failure as well.
Oof.
It's okay. Let me go ahead and we'll hop out of here and we'll go take a look at the TAC view together.
That was good though. That was actually one of the better locks of the evening.
Yeah.
Of the morning.
Yeah, that's a good one there. Yeah, it's the evening for you.
Yeah.
All right, give me just a moment here while we change things up so that you can see the TAC view. Just a moment there, folks. Bear with me there. It also lets me set things up for catch up for later because he needs that done. Okay, TAC view.
Will you quickly do that? I'm going to switch to headphones.
Mm-hmm. Okay, come back into Twitch. And there's TAC view. All right, so for those who are not as familiar, this is TAC view. It's a program that is free, but you can throw some money at it for some of the advanced features of the system that allows a person to review telemetry data that is gathered from the game. In a place that it will convert it into a 3D environment that you can look at. And in this particular case, this is going to cover our whole flight here for today. I think all the way up to the end. Yeah, it does.
Yay.
Here we are, we took off, cruising towards our first encounter. We got these MiG-21s. So, like we were saying before, it's a little bit like trying to cross the T. And in this case, we are on the wrong end of it. So we were not really able to pick these guys out until we got much closer. Because at this point, I was cruising there. I rolled the aircraft over and dropped down so Trigger could find them a little better. He did. Which, as you can see, we picked them up at 20 miles. Before we were able to get them out of the clutter. And at this point, I'm turning to try and fly an intercept. And what we're trying to do is be where the airplanes are going to be by the time we get to a position to shoot. In theory, on a perfect day with nothing going wrong, we are in range right now to be able to shoot him with a Sparrow. But these guys reached the end of their patrol area. They started to turn in on us. Now we're getting ready to do the business. But we didn't have a good stable lock on him just yet. Until then, we fired the first Sparrow. Sparrow is tracking. His friend is coming down after us while we are going after him. I'm going to go ahead and leave the tracker for telemetry data 2 on the second MiG. As we play through here, that Sparrow ceases tracking as we're now looking at him with the ground behind him, and he's flying a beam. So our radar did not provide good information for tracking, but we still held on to him. So as soon as that information became good again, I fired another missile, and that one got him. His friend is a mile and a third behind us. And here's where we put a whole bunch of G on the aircraft. We're at 8.7 there. He throws a missile. We kick out countermeasures. That R-60 goes into the flares. I'm really glad you get to watch this one from this perspective, though, because this was slick. I roll over the top of him.
Even from the back seat, it looked pretty good.
Rolled over the top of him, and there he is, just right off the nose. Bang. Down you go. Cruise out. We reset.
And like usual, the only reason I asked if you could see him was just communication.
Yep.
That was it.
Communication is key. Communication is positive handoff between, do you have this guy? Can I look at something else right now?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't, I'm going to keep tracking him and keep giving you calls until you do. Like that's kind of the unwritten side there. And this one, I shoot a Sidewinder because I had him pretty well lit up, but it got him to defend. So he spent his countermeasures while his first friend flew through us. I fired another Sidewinder, but as you can see, it too goes after the flares, and we were also very heavily, well, not really, we're only about 3 Gs, but the thing to understand with the Sidewinders in particular on the F4 is that they are underneath the aircraft and hidden a little bit. So you almost need to pull a little bit of lead with the nose before letting those go so that the seeker head can clearly see the target. Because if it has to look up at all, there's some good odds that it might actually be trying to look up through the wing or the nose of the aircraft, and that's not as helpful. Might have to replace this mouse here soon. That middle mouse button's being a little finicky.
I was just noticing that.
But we did get him in a position where I could drill him with a Sparrow. I had him in auto acquisition, which has a range of 5 miles. The auto acquisition mode for the F4 is set by the pilot. And then you go ahead and you hit the cage button first, and then the nose wheel steering button, and that will put the radar in auto acquisition mode, which is why the F-4E really kind of sits astride the ergonomic HOTAS on one side and 1950s bells and switches on the other. So you do have the start of seeing some multifunction buttons, but it is not as ergonomic as it could be if it was designed to be from the gate. But what it does is it uses your pinky switch for radar missiles, IR missiles, and guns to scan zone right, center, or left, respectively. So if you got it in radar mode, that 5-mile cone is going to be looking off to the right, 15, 20 degrees. And you see me when we were doing this, when I would toggle back to the Sidewinder, even though I wasn't intending to use the Sidewinder at the moment, it's because I'm putting the auto acquisition scan area in the center again. So I can just put the pipper on the target and let the auto-ac radar do what it's going to do to try and pick him out while we were turning and everything else. It scans an area roughly co-altitude with the aircraft to about 40, 50 degrees up relative to the facing of the aircraft. So like right now in this heavy turn, if I was in auto-acquisition mode and didn't have a target locked up, it would scan from about here, slightly below the nose, and out here. So like if we were chasing an aircraft, it would scan in the vertical slightly, like the little vertical scan mode, try and pick him up, which, oriented as we are in the aircraft right now, is out here to the right. But we picked him up with auto acquisition mode. I waited for him to get me in a good position, threw the Sparrow at him, and it flew and hit the target. So he's done. And his friend was way up here. Trying not to hemorrhage too much energy off. So we do a couple of loops with him. Unfortunately for him, that puts him in a position where now he is almost 2 miles away. Comes the Sparrow. First one goes stupid. And then the Sidewinder as he comes up. And out he goes. And at that point, we're out of weapons. We go home. Did our high altitude cruise. True airspeed 500 knots faster than our indicated. And back at Incirlik. Refuel. And then we come up here to do it again. First missile went really well. Oh, they split off. Okay. It's an interesting move. And this can get buried if you are fixed on this aircraft with the radar. Because one of the downsides to the F-4, and this is something to keep in mind, especially for air-to-air, is that your situational awareness is basically the AWACS chittering in your ear. The front and back seat are looking outside the aircraft when things are close enough. And if you're not fixed on a target in single track mode, you can use the radar to kind of give you a little bit of an idea about what's going on. However, the moment that you go to single target scan, we're looking at this guy, we got him locked up, but we can't see that his friend has peeled off. We threw the Sparrow at him. It guided really well, but he flew in such a way that we lost him. And we sent a second Sparrow, and this one, he does not get away from. Smack. Down he goes. We come up to meet his friend, but he gives me the R60, which hit me on the nose. And that was it for me. We're just kind of tumbling aerodynamically. Trigger gets out of the aircraft, and they'll find me later with the husk of this one. Maybe.
If even spamming the flares didn't help.
No, and sometimes that just seems to be the way that it is with the F-4. It is one of the things that I find to be a little problematic. And some of it, I don't know if it's because the engines just run that hot, which could be. You know, they are close together, center of the jet. They're also canted downward slightly, so even if I am like nose on, like this, with a front aspect only weapon, the exhaust is down here under the aircraft.
Yeah, I can still see it.
It's possible that the missile might get good tone if I'm, sustained high military power cruise for a while, or, in afterburner for any reason. That's why sometimes I will, when I throttle the engines, I try and put the top of the aircraft towards the target in the hopes that some of this engine cowling and wings and everything else might shield some of that IR sensor. And even though it was just a tiny firecracker missile, that really it's a little off bore for him. Like, here's his cockpit view. His nose and his seeker head is pointed down here. That should only be a small, narrow field. And he throws it at me like he's using a helmet-mounted sight.
It actually did start tracking the flares at the last second, but proximity did it.
Yeah, no, we were at that range and at those speeds. We are. Let's see how far away we are here. Oh, it says up here 1.7 miles, 1.2 miles. Yeah, it happens. It is what it is. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close on out of here for now, since we're done with that for today.
Yep, I will go ahead and scoot for food.
Okie
It was
dokie.
good
Thank you.
flying.
Yeah, thank you, Trigger. Appreciate you coming up.
Not a problem.
Phase 5, we're going to be getting into some advanced weapons modes and things like that. Maybe a little bit of mission type work. What to expect flying an actual sortie with the F-4. And Phase 6 will be nighttime, which will cover a little bit of everything for the jet, but operating at night and employing some of the other weapons like the marker flares, high drag bombs, cluster dispensers, things like that, which should be a good time. All right, folks. So we are looking at being back for Tuesday, as long as work doesn't super make me tired, for DCS flying at about 6:30 p.m., followed by Classic Games, Arma 3 on Friday night, and Pilum Teaches DCS should be on for Saturday. And if for whatever reason my work schedule shifts suddenly on that one, I will record that one and have that posted on YouTube, so watch for it there. With that, always ask for consent. Try to communicate as best you can with your partners. Try to be genuinely decent human beings. Thanks for coming up with us today, and have a fantastic day. Pilum out.